Good evening, Tallahassee. Welcome to your Wednesday edition of FSU Weather. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Live look right now over the stadium. We are seeing a lot of clouds right now. It is currently 76 degrees and a little breezy, winds out of the east at 14 miles per hour. And we're seeing sort of we are seeing the similar temperatures across the Big Bend region. We're sitting in the mid to lower 70s across our southern Georgia counties, as well as 74 down by the coast in Apalachicola. And we are going to see some rain move through the area heading into the end of our week. We have some of our stronger showers down just heading north of Cross City right now, and we have some showers heading up along the coast right now as well. And for tonight's headlines, we have a Gulf low that is bringing all of that rain to our state. We have a severe weather threat for the central U.S. and what is a red flag warning and some more fire weather safety. All of that and more tonight on FSU Weather.
Good evening, Tallahassee. I'm student meteorologist Nikki Kanakis. Today is going to be an interesting day. We have a lot going on. As we saw in the overview, there might be some rain coming our way, which is a little bit unfortunate to those playing IM sports tonight. Just make sure you're watching the FSU Rainline Twitter account to make sure that your game doesn't get canceled. But as far as I've seen so far, we should still be on for tonight. But and a little bit of a contrast, we will be talking about the those fire warnings, and you should always definitely tune in. We will be talking about that with our Spotlight City, and we have a desk on it, so make sure you keep tuning in. And now I'm going to pass it over to Parker.
Yeah, thanks, Nikki. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at Tallahassee more locally, but right now it's currently 76 degrees out. We've got cloudy skies with winds breezing out of the east at 14 miles per hour. Now the radar shows nothing over our area, but we do see this southerly flow off the Gulf, bringing in some moisture into our eastern and our western regions of the viewing area. But our current temperatures around the block right now are sitting around the 75-degree mark for much of the viewing area. 74 down there in Apalachicola, Donaldsonville at 5 degrees right now. Our temperature almanac, however, is right on par for this time of year. 80 degrees, we reached our high today. Our low was 62, and although it felt colder this morning and through the nighttime hours last night, we were nowhere near our average. We were actually 8 degrees above our average for this time of year, which sits at 54 degrees. And again, we were nowhere near that high back in 1965 of 92 degrees, a record high of 92 in April. That's crazy. And again, our low of 34 back in 1989, just 2 degrees above the freezing point. We were nowhere near that. But our current dew points around the block, around 50-degree mark. Thomasville up there at 50, 58 towards the coast and Perry, and then even a little bit warmer over Apalachicola due to that southerly flow. But here's how things will pan out over the next few hours and over the next few days. We have some rain coming out of the south, and if you'll notice, we'll pause right here in a second. We have this big frontal line that's going to be coming through the area tomorrow about midday, around noon, 12:45 to the 1 o'clock hour. So keep your umbrella handy because we're going to have some rain. It's going to move through here in the next coming days or so. But watch as the rest of this pans out. We see that southerly flow start to go in that clockwise or counterclockwise motion. That's all because of that low pressure that's just centralized just to the south of Louisiana. We'll talk more about that on the show as we progress throughout it for tonight. But as for tonight's temperatures, we're going to dip down to about 63, a little bit above average for this time of year, with some spotty showers, mostly in our eastern regions and towards the western counties of our viewing area, and then mostly cloudy conditions will persist with winds out of the east at around 10 miles per hour, possibly gusting up nearing 20 in some areas. If you're near the coast, more so likely for that. And as for the rest of the region, we're going to be hitting about 65 degrees for much of the area. Again, as you go towards the coast, we get a little bit warmer. Apalachicola down there at 69, Carabel Island around 68 degrees. As for tomorrow, we're going to be capping off around the 78-degree mark with thunderstorms coming through the area around noon tomorrow. So again, keep that umbrella handy. Maybe even bring a rain jacket because classes get out around that time. Classes even begin at that time. So on your walk to and from class, please make sure you are prepared for that. Again, wind's going to be gusting around 13 miles per hour. Tomorrow's temperature is going to cap off around the upper 70-degree mark. And as for the week ahead, we're going to have rain showers tomorrow. Going to clear up just in time for parts of the weekend, but Sunday we're going to have some rainy conditions persisting into the forecast. And the next week looks beautiful, and we should be more so around our average for our low temperatures and a little bit above for our high temperatures. I'm going to pass it off to Oceana with a look at Florida.
Yes, thank you. Zooming out a little bit into the entire state, we do have some pretty warm temperatures all around, our hot spot being in Key West, as you can imagine. But over here in Tallahassee, it is sitting at 77. Our dew points in Tallahassee as well are 55, but we are really, really moist in Key West. A little bit drier up on the panhandle, but in central Florida, we are sitting at about 64 for our dew point. So not too unbearable, but definitely be prepared for some rain. We have a low pressure system, as we talked about, coming in from the Gulf all around the area. Zooming in specifically on Tallahassee, we will see this tomorrow. We have a lot of rain coming through. You can see all of these cloudy conditions as of right now. And actually live, you can see those cloudy conditions. It is 76 in Tallahassee with a wind at 14 miles per hour. So things are gonna start picking up tonight into tomorrow. So definitely look out for that rain. As far as central Florida goes, there is a lot of rain coming for you as well, especially in this Ocala area and Horseshoe Beach. Definitely look out for that. We do have that low pressure system coming in from the Gulf. In Marion County, just as I spoke about, that central Florida area is still cloudy right now. Not as cloudy as Tallahassee, but just as windy, 16 miles per hour here in Marion County. For the lower portion of Florida, Miami, we do have a lot of rain and a lot of weather coming in over here from the Atlantic. That low pressure system keeps pushing through. Definitely look out for that rain over here in the south region. It's looking pretty rainy and windy in Miami right now, 71 degrees, but as far as wind, not as windy, but definitely pretty muggy around there. Now Miami, as I was talking about, has seen some flooding lately, and unfortunately, we will be seeing some more rain coming into that region. Especially over here in New Orleans, you see that low pressure system that is pushing through from the Gulf. All over here, we will see some more rain through Saturday. For tonight, all across the state, we are sitting in the 70s and 60s, pretty mild temperatures, but pay attention to those lightning clouds and the rain going on here. We have 66 tonight in Tallahassee specifically, but down in Key West, pretty warm, 76. But definitely look out for that rain coming all throughout the state tonight. For tomorrow, like I said, Tallahassee is the place to look out for, and across the entire state actually. The only sunshine that we will be seeing a lot of is in Key West. Lucky for them if you happen to be in there. That's all. So let's see what's going on in Milwaukee.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at a different part of the country right now, and we're going to look at Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, I've never been to Wisconsin, but I believe that this is not the type of weather that they normally are seeing. Right now, though, we have clear skies. It's currently 66 degrees and winds out of the southwest at 13 miles per hour, so quite breezy there. And, well, actually here it's showing that it is 78, but still that is very warm for this time of year. And we have to point out that our temperature in Wisconsin Rapids is 85 degrees. So that is going to also factor into our dew points. We're seeing a very dry dew point of 46 right now in Milwaukee, so that is going to be contributing to a lot of fire weather that could be possibly happening, which we have a desk on after this segment. And the winds are very strong as well. On the west side, we have 19 in Milwaukee, 17 in Oshkosh, and 21 in Woodstock, and we're also seeing 21 in Grand Rapids and 16 in Kalamazoo, so quite breezy there. And we do have a red flag warning out, so that is all of this pink shaded region for most of these counties right now, which means that it is dry, hot, and windy, which can lead to many forest fires or brush fires starting. So for our temperatures, our average is 53 degrees, and look at our high today. It was 83, 30 degrees above average, which was actually a new record. It has broken the record that was set in 1941 of 82, and our low temperature was quite higher than our average as well. So very warm conditions there. And we are not seeing much on our radar either, which is really contributing to those dry and dangerous fire conditions. But as we head into the next few days, we are going to see some more clouds move into the area, which is going to bring some more moisture and some more nicer conditions, which is definitely going to be nice for them up in Wisconsin. So if you are heading to the Milwaukee Bucks game on Sunday, that is, we are going to see that chance of showers, and it's going to be about 45 degrees at tip-off, which is at 5:30 p.m. So make sure to bring your umbrella and possibly your jacket, because that is very chilly for at least me. Maybe not up there it is. And we'll see that chance of rain start on Saturday and into the end of the weekend, and our temperatures are going to cool off as well. But let's take it back down south with Nikki.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. What a beautiful city it sounds like. I haven't been to Milwaukee personally, but I bet it is a fun place. We have some cameras going on in the southeast right now. View for South Carolina, absolutely gorgeous day out on the water there. If you know the mayor like I do, I know that that is a great city. Tampa is also looking a little bit gloomy. New Orleans, that dock looks pretty nice as well, but it also looks pretty cloudy there. And the same story for Georgia. That sun's pretty bright, actually. It's hurting my eyes just a little bit. Right now around the southeast, it is pretty the same around the whole entire area. 70s, 77 here in Tallahassee, 78 in Little Rock, 79 in Nashville. So mostly in the 70s. We have a 67 here in New Orleans, which is a little bit different, but we're really averaging around the same temperature around the southeast. Right now, it's a little bit drier, a little bit farther up north in this area, 38 in Nashville, 55 in Tallahassee. So it's not as muggy as it usually is here, but it's still not great. And then, of course, as we get down to Miami, it's going to be pretty muggy there. Our temperature anomalies are also pretty similar as well. Tallahassee, not anything different, but as we get a little bit farther up north in the southeast, it's getting a little bit warmer than average. And surprisingly, the farther south we go, it's getting a little bit chillier. So that's definitely interesting to see at this time of year. Our radar, as we've been talking about throughout the show, we have that rain coming up towards our area. And hopefully it's not going to be hitting until maybe after we go to sleep, but maybe into tomorrow. But we'll just have to see when it gets here. You know, the rain's on its own time. I can't tell you when exactly it's going to get here. We have that Gulf flow as well. It's okay for this time of year, but if it was closer to September, that could definitely mean that we could have had a stronger chance of storms or a hurricane. So right now it's just bringing up that rain in that cold center that it has, and it is bringing rain to that southeast area. And over the next few days, we have a little bit of a higher chance of rain over in New Orleans and Atlanta, but there's chances for rain all around the southeast. So it might be a little bit wet, so make sure you have your umbrella prepared wherever you're going. But as we go into tonight, it's going to be nice and mild here, 63 in Tallahassee, so maybe go out, maybe watch your friends play their IM sports if it doesn't get rained out. And Nashville's going to be a little bit chilly. Make sure you break out your jacket if you go there. And in Miami, maybe go watch the sunset. It's going to be nice to go out. It's going to be a beautiful temperature. And as we go into tomorrow, it is going to be a little bit toasty around our area, 78-degree high here in Tallahassee. Not really what I like to be seeing personally, but it's pretty mild as you get into Jackson, Mississippi or New Orleans, but definitely hotter as you get to Miami. And it should just be a beautiful day. Make sure you get out. Always make sure you're paying attention to see if it's going to be raining. But now I'm going to pass it over to the desk to hear a little bit more about fire safety with Oceana and Parker.
Thanks, Nikki. Yes, so we have been talking a lot about rain in Florida, but the rest of the United States, there are a lot of drought and fire warnings going on.
Yeah, for much of the Midwest and parts of the eastern regions of the United States, there's actually fire weather going on right there. So we're going to talk about fire safety and prevention. So let's just go through a couple of definitions here.
Yeah, so there's a definition of the fire safety that's going to happen is that's going to cause a fire is a hot and dry and windy condition that would make a really conductive environment for the wildfire to produce.
Right, and a red flag warning is issued for high fire danger with increased probability of a quickly spreading vegetation fire. And a red flag warning, we have to avoid anything that ignites or burns or creates sparks because it's really dry out there. A lot of dead grass can catch fire, maybe even trees, and from there it spreads.
Yeah, so always pay attention to watches and warnings. Here's the difference between a fire weather watch. That is your key to be prepared. It means that the conditions are possible. But when you hear that red flag warning, that should be the red flag that there are critical fire conditions that could occur.
Right. The differences between watches and warnings apply for all factors of weather. Watch is imminent, warning, it's happening right now. So what can we do to prevent wildfires from happening? Well, we can dispose of cigarettes and matches properly, right? We don't just flick them out of the window of the car when we're driving by, especially in a forest. You don't do that.
Yeah.
We could avoid using equipment that creates sparks. What else can we do?
Yeah, like something that you might not think of is to not use a lawnmower because that would pick up some of that dry grass or weeds, and also avoid any burns, obviously. Never ever have a bonfire when you are under any sort of watch or warning.
Right, and another thing that we could avoid doing is a lot of trucks that carry trailers, they have the chains that drag on the ground. Those could create sparks, possibly sparking up a fire. But here are those current red flag warnings across much of the Midwest and parts of the upper regions of the Midwest, spanning even into parts of Pennsylvania. But that's what we have right now, and that's all because we have droughts all across the U.S. You saw there in parts of Florida near Port Charlotte, there's actually an extreme weather or extreme dry conditions right now. So be very mindful of that if you're in the region. But for now, we're going to send things back over to the wall with Elizabeth.
Thank you so much. So yeah, fortunately, not the some portions of our country are not feeling that drought right now, and we're actually seeing some pretty chilly temperatures up into the northwest. We are sitting at 52 in Seattle and 54 in Billings, and then as we head into the Midwest, we're seeing 78 in Kansas City, 84 in Minneapolis. So it is quite warm there as well. And for the majority of the country as well, we're seeing very dry conditions, mainly to our west. So in places like Denver, Billings, Salt Lake, and Los Angeles, we are seeing those below normal type of dew points. We're sitting at 19 in Denver, 23 in Albuquerque, and we are sitting quite humid along the Gulf Coast as we have that southerly flow coming through the area right now. So we are sitting warmer than average for the majority of this central part of the country right here. We're sitting actually below average for parts of our state of Florida, and we're sitting below average as well for the Northwest. So very varied temperatures right now. So because of these two high pressure systems is why we're seeing those nicer conditions for the majority of the country. So it's bringing dry air, nice temperatures, and nice weather, and that's why we have those drier and warmer conditions. But we do have this low pressure system down in the Gulf of Mexico, and that is going to bring in majority of our rain for the next few days, at least for the Gulf Coast and for the state of Florida. And for our drought monitor, we are seeing an exceptional drought for parts of the Midwest, especially in Kansas and northern Oklahoma. We're seeing still a drought in our state of Florida and in the Northwest as well. So and that really is not going to be really helped. We do not see much rain going on in our Northwest radar. We are seeing some pop-up showers around Portland, but nothing really to speak on, as well as the same for the Northeast. We are seeing some pop-up showers in northern New England, but again, nothing really special to see. In Boston College, it actually looks very nice right now. It is 72 degrees and partly cloudy, and we can start to see that sunset poke through there. And for the Gulf Coast radar, I know that you see this spinning a little bit. I promise it is not formed into any sort of tropical system. It's just going to bring lots of rain to our region over the next few days. And see that we do have the red flag out there, which means that the rip currents are very high right now because we're seeing that rain move through, and it is 70 degrees in Miramar Beach right now. So for the majority of our rain, because of that system, we are going to see 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain heading into the Gulf Coast region right here, just east of New Orleans, and we're going to be having some rain up in the north and central part of the country. And we do have a slight risk of severe storms for central Oklahoma and Kansas, and we have a non-severe threat for the southeast region. And for tomorrow, we are going to sit at similar temperatures as we did today. We're seeing cooler temperatures in the northwest and hot temperatures in the southeast. So now, what are we going to be talking about next, Nikki?
We are going to be talking about what's going on in Tallahassee with our lifestyle. Right now, looking at Panama City, it's very cloudy there, so if you're going to watch the sunset, it's probably not the best night to do so. The res is also not looking its best, honestly, but we have St. George Island and Sportsplex, which are also cloudy, but if you're going to be playing some IM Sports tonight, hopefully it won't bother you too much. If you're going to be leaving Tallahassee to go to some destinations, it should be all clear, no delays, and the same story is showing around the rest of the country as well, so you should not have too many problems if you're trying to get on any flight weather-wise. So that's good to hear if you're traveling around. Right now our pollen, we have high grass pollen and low weed and tree pollen, which I find it hard to believe personally because this pollen has me suffering every single day. If you're going to be walking your dog, like my beautiful dog right here, my little Gabby girl, it is going to be just an absolutely gorgeous day to do so. Actually, temperature-wise, but it's probably going to be raining, so unless your little pup likes to get jumping in that mud, I would not suggest taking it for a walk. Maybe if you have a little treadmill or something in your house for your dog, that'll be a better choice. Right now, fair conditions to go looking at the stars. Maybe if you're going to be out in the night looking for Bigfoot or something, it's going to be a decent night. You can use the stars to wayfind your way over to Bigfoot, but not the best if you're just trying to look at stars. There might be some clouds in the way, as we've seen on those cameras all around Tallahassee. Softball is going to be playing Virginia on the 14th. It should be a nice day, some clouds, but a nice temperature, but make sure you're always staying hydrated and wearing sunscreen, even if it is cloudy outside, because those UV rays can still come in and give you a burn. Not what you should be looking forward to, not the best feeling. And baseball is going to be playing at NC State. It's going to be a nice temperature, but there is a chance of showers, so make sure you bring your rain jacket if you're that committed fan, if you really want to go, and bring an umbrella as well if you don't have a rain jacket. Stay protected from getting wet. And if you're going to our FSU football spring game, it should be quite a bit of a toasty one in the evening, 82 degrees around the start, and it gets cooler as the sun goes down, but it's still going to be quite toasty outside, especially if you're sitting like a little sardine in the stands with everybody else. Not the best. If you're going to the beach, not the best time right now, 72, but the sun's not really out, so I personally wouldn't recommend it. And the same for tomorrow. It's going to be raining, so it's not the best beach day, so maybe save that for when the sun comes back out again. If you're going to be playing IM Sports, like my friends Ian and Chase tonight, on the softball or football, it should be an excellent night to do so if the rain stays away just long enough for you to play. But I'm going to give it to Oceana for one last look at the local.
Thanks, Nikki. So for our local area in Tallahassee, we are still seeing those clouds remaining all over with that wind out of the east at 14 miles per hour. We've got a nice temperature, 76, but it is still pretty cloudy around here. We can see that our radar, we've got a little bit of rain hanging out in the Gulf area, but it has not reached us yet, luckily, because it will be getting to us later in the night and into tomorrow. As far as Tallahassee goes, for current temperatures, it is 76 in Tallahassee. Over here in Donaldsonville, 75. Slightly cooler down by the coast in Apalachicola at 74. But all across the board here, we are sitting around the 70s. Pretty warm temperatures for today. Our high is sitting right at average. Luckily, we are at 80 degrees, not quite at our record of 92, luckily. But our low was 62 this morning, not quite close to our average, but still pretty mild for today. For our dew points in Tallahassee, not as high as we have seen this week, but still sitting at 55, a little bit lower in Thomasville at 50, and down by the coast a little bit warmer, or a little bit higher of a dew point at 60. So it's definitely going to be a little muggier down by the coast as expected. For the future, radar, as I mentioned, that rain will be coming through eventually, but as of right now, there's just going to be a lot of clouds around the area. But that rain is definitely something to look out for. For tonight, 63, mostly cloudy. It would definitely bring an umbrella if you've got one. It is going to be rainy and rainy tomorrow morning as well. So if you are going to class tomorrow, or if you're going out tonight, an umbrella is definitely a great idea. In Tallahassee, we are sitting 65 for tonight. Like I mentioned before, pretty mild temperature. Definitely won't need a jacket. 62 in Thomasville. We are already raining here in the coastal area. Carabel 68 and Apalachicola 69 degrees tonight. So across the board tonight, pretty mild temperatures, 60s, mid 60s, higher 60s by the coast. Tomorrow, thunderstorms, pretty big theme that I've mentioned tonight because of that Gulf low that we are going to be seeing pushing through. 78 tomorrow, warm, but keep a lookout for the thunderstorms and definitely take cover when necessary. We have a wind coming out of the south-southeast at 13 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, all across the region, rainy and high 70s. As far as the week ahead, a little bit warmer this weekend, but overall the rain to look out for is on Thursday. I'm going to give it to Elizabeth to close the show.
Yes, so we are going to see that rain move through actually for the majority of the state beginning tonight into tomorrow morning for us, and then it's going to go south as it comes through the area. So if you are driving to Tampa this weekend for the Eras Tour like I am, be sure to be careful because traffic on top of rain is not a good combination. So be careful, make sure you're not following too closely, make sure you have your headlights on, not your high beams during rain, and make sure to not have your hazards lights on either because that is just going to make a more dangerous situation. However, as we are getting rain here, we have portions of the country that are experiencing very dry and drought-like conditions right now. So it is important that we also practice our fire safety and make sure that you are following your weather, and make sure to follow us on Twitter as well, twitter.com/FSU weather, and like us on Facebook. We're also FSU weather on there as well, and make sure to watch us live every night at 6 p.m. on youtube.com/FSU weather, and follow us on Instagram and send us your cool sky pictures. We would love to see that. And we are also on TikTok as long as you're not on the FSU Wi-Fi at FSUweather.com. And so now we're going to send it back one more time with Parker to take a look at our 7-day.
Yeah, one last look at the 7-day here for you. So we're going to start things off with rain on Thursday, and then we'll clear up throughout the weekend and for much of the week ahead. Maybe look out for Bigfoot, may make an appearance tomorrow with his umbrella out there. But I'm meteorologist Parker Beasley, and from all of us here at FSU Weather, have a fantastic night, Tallahassee.